Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into David Maraniss's incredible biography of a man who was so much more than a baseball player. He was a hero in every sense of the word, whose life was just a masterclass in courage and compassion.
Let's kick things off with the words that really defined Roberto Clemente. This wasn't just some nice-sounding quote for him. This was his code. It was the principle that guided his entire life, right up to his final, tragic, and absolutely heroic act.
So, let's get into it. The book breaks down this incredible journey of a super talented kid from Puerto Rico who gets called up to the big leagues. But as you'll see, his story was about way more than just playing ball. All right, so here are the basics on the book we're exploring today. And look, even if you're not a huge baseball fan, I promise you, this one's for you. It's so much more than stats and scores. It really gets to the soul of this incredible man.
So what's the big idea here? It's that you absolutely cannot separate Clemente the athlete from Clemente the humanitarian. Maraniss makes it crystal clear that his greatness on the field was totally intertwined with his incredible character off of it. They were two sides of the same coin. Okay, let's go back to the beginning. Maraniss paints this really vivid picture of where Clemente came from, Carolina, Puerto Rico. His dad was a sugarcane foreman, and from a young age, Roberto's talent was just off the charts. You know that legendary throwing arm he had? He always said he got that from his mother. And get this, he was signed professionally at just 18 while he was still in high school, a kid with this massive talent about to step into a world that was going to both celebrate him and, well, challenge him in some pretty tough ways.
And that brings us to the next chapter. See, when Clemente got to the U.S. in the 50s, nobody to deny his skill. It was obvious. But he immediately ran into this massive wall of prejudice. It was a test that would truly forge who he became. And this quote right here, it tells you everything you need to know about his mindset. He refused to be silenced or defined by anyone else's bigotry. He saw himself as a voice, a representative for anyone who was marginalized, and just wanted to be treated with some basic human dignity.
And the book is just gut-wrenching in detailing the kind of stuff he had to deal with. It was constant. The press would make fun of his accent, literally spelling out his words phonetically to mock him. During spring training in Florida, he and the other Black and Latino players couldn't even stay in the same hotel or eat in the same restaurants as their white teammates. He was sick of being treated like a second-class citizen, and when the team management told him to just keep his mouth shut, yeah, that was not going to happen.
I mean, think about this for a second. The contrast was just night and day. Back home in Puerto Rico, he was a hero. They called him Moman. He was beloved. But in the U.S., he was often treated like some kind of foreign oddity. The media painted this picture of him as moody or lazy, all because he was a proud man who simply demanded respect. He was living in two completely different realities.
But here's the thing about true greatness. You can't keep it down. No amount of prejudice could stop his talent. And it all came to a head on the biggest stage imaginable, the 1971 World Series. This was his moment to show the world who he really was, completely on his own terms. And after that series, he said this: "Now people in the whole world know the way I play." Wow, that was it. That was his vindication. He was named the MVP, and he finally felt like everyone saw him for the complete, brilliant player he always knew he was. It wasn't about rubbing it in anyone's face, it was about finally getting the recognition he had fought so hard for. And just look at what he did. Batted .414, 2 homers, incredible plays in the outfield. He basically single-handedly led the Pirates to a championship nobody thought they could win. The numbers are amazing, sure, but Maraniss shows us it was so much more than that. Every single play was a statement. It was the climax of this long, lonely fight for respect. So he's at the absolute peak of his career, and it's from that incredible high that we have to turn to the final and most heartbreaking chapter of his life, a mission of mercy that would tragically become his last.
One of the most haunting things the book reveals is this feeling Clemente seemed to carry with him. His wife, Vera, said he always talked about dying young. It wasn't that he was morbid. It was like he knew his time was limited, and that gave him this incredible urgency to make a difference. And it makes what happens next even more powerful. Okay, so here's how his final days played out. On December 23, 1972, a huge earthquake hits Monaga, Nicaragua, a place he had just been. He immediately jumps into action, organizing relief efforts in Puerto Rico. But then he starts hearing these horrible reports that the aid is being stolen by the corrupt government there. It's not getting to the victims, so he makes a decision. He decides the only way to make sure the supplies get delivered is to go himself. And on New Year's Eve, he boarded that cargo plane. It was overloaded, it was old, and it crashed into the ocean right after takeoff. There were no survivors. But as tragic as it was, his story doesn't end there. In a way, his death cemented his legacy forever as more than a ball player, as a true humanitarian hero.
So, what is his legacy? What does this incredible book tell us to take away from his life? Well, it's something that goes way beyond baseball. I think his teammate Willie Stargell said it perfectly. The way he died, that's exactly how he lived. He was always helping people, not for the fame or the headlines, but because it was the right thing to do. That was just who he was. And that's really the final lesson here. True greatness isn't about the trophies or the stats. It's about having the courage to stand up for what's right and the compassion to help those in need. Maraniss shows us that Clemente's principles were even stronger than his throwing arm, and that's really saying something. So, what's our take? This book is absolutely exceptional. It's not just hero worship. It's a deeply researched, powerful, and moving story about a complicated, proud, and fundamentally good person. It weaves everything together: the baseball genius, the personal struggles, the humanitarian spirit. It is a must-read. For its incredible storytelling, its meticulous research, and for truly capturing the heart of who Roberto Clemente was, we are giving this one a 9 out of 10.
And hey, if you love this story, we've got a couple more for you. David Maraniss also wrote an amazing book on another complex sports legend, Vince Lombardi. And for a story with similar themes of grace and fighting adversity, check out Arnold Rampersaad's biography of the great Jackie Robinson.
And that's our look at Clemente. I really hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you follow and subscribe so you don't miss our next explainer. Thanks for tuning in.